Hi everyone. I'm in limbo at the moment. My idea is to recharge my batteries and to make a Tamiya model, preferably a tank. I do like those, and I'm having trouble deciding which one to do. Trying to pick a subject that you might find interesting. Any suggestions, let me know. This was just going to be a gap fill in between the next two projects, which are fairly major. 124 scale Stuka, built along the lines of the 109 I did. And the big major project that I do want to do at some point very soon is the Trumpeter 30 scale Lightning. I want to convert it to a T-Bird. A lot of work there, so I need to find my mojo again. Hence the Tamiya build. But while I'm dithering about with that, questions have been asked previously and quite recently about displaying the models. I have to say that I don't display my models. Did do years ago, in cabinets all lit up, not anymore. I've got over that. As far as I'm concerned, models are just a gatherer of dust. So I'll box my models up now, a bit like a coffin, never to be seen again. Keeps them all nice, dust-free and protected though. So I thought while I'm dithering about deciding what to do next, I'd make a video of me making a box for the last model I finished. If you're not interested in this sort of thing, then that's fine, and I do hope to see you for the next build, which hopefully will be soon. But I hope you find this interesting, just showing you what I do with a couple of sheets of A1 foam board. I did used to use cardboard, which is a better material because it's a bit more breathable. So we'll get straight on with it, and thank you for watching. So to get started, other than the actual model, the subject itself, steel ruler, pen, knife, cutting board and foam board. I used to use cardboard, but this is my material of choice now. Cheap and strong, great stuff. So the first thing I need to do is to get my floor plan. Now I'm going to decide that one edge will be here and the edge here will be a bit more wider because I'll stow the blades along here. I've got a rough idea of what I'm going to do to stow them, so there's going to be a bit more space here, so the schnitt will be off centre slightly. But I do want to give it space around the edges there. So I'm going to 12 inches. So we get it square. We'll try and make all our cuts as plumb as possible. Guess at 11 inches. All guesswork. Now I've got my footprint, I can cut this out. I can put this, move it to one side. So we've got that 11. Once again, we need to make sure we're all squared off and plumb. Gently, carefully. So that's our base, and since we've got that area cut, we'll cut it again for the top, or the lid, or the roof. Just need to do the sides now. So for the sides, I've already built the jig, you've probably seen in the previous video, so that gives me a good head start. So I'm going to go for 8 inches, that should be more than enough, and give it a bit of clearance, so we'll go for that. So we need to cut out now sides that are 8 inches high. And we can use this for our measurements, even though we know what they are. I think they were, what was it, 11 and whatever. but I'll use this as a template. So I'm going to do either end. Then mark off 8. Now I can use this as a template for the other end. So now, I shall glue on top like that. I need to cut the sides now. Now because these sides will be mounted at the side rather than sitting on top, and the reason for that is to give it strength. If I stagger these joints, I get a bit more strength. So I need to have 5mm extra onto the height, which was 8 inches. Nice to have a set square. I used to have loads at one time, back in the dim past. So the idea is, we've got our base, we've got our side, and the other one, which has got the extra 5mm. So we've got a step in this corner here, just gives it a bit more rigidity. So just need to add glue. There's all sorts of glues you could use. This stuff's pretty good from Hobbycraft. And I've got some of this stuff, which is strange. It's almost like water, but it's pretty good as well. These are the two I usually choose to glue the bits with. As I say, got to be careful with this stuff. It's so runny. Watch those fingers. Three sides pinned and glued. Just going to let that dry. I can't remember what I said. I'm going to leave this side off so I've got access to do other things, and I can glue this on last. So the glue's dried now. I've used any bits of gash offcuts just to add here and there. So the next thing is to use this that I made previously. To get it into a suitable position. Then once I'm happy with it, I'll mark off the position so I can glue this in without this sitting on top. So with the jig glued in place and the Chinook helped weighing it down, to give it a nice bond. Just a bit of kitchen paper. I'm just going to cut it in half. Fold it over like that. A bit of glue, just a bit, not a lot. So that's what I'm going to do. I've glued a couple of these together to give me longer length. These down, put just a bit of glue, making sure I don't get it all over the model. And attach it to this piece on the other side. And gently feed this round. Let's get it in there. Trim it off. Don't need a lot. Just so you know it's got a firm hold there. But this time I've got this aerial, which is going to be very tricky. So I'm just going to trim this down, thin it down. Just going to let that dry. Now while that's drying, I need to create something to hold the back and the front in position. So although the Chinook won't be going anywhere up or down, it can still slide about back to front. So I need to create some stoppers just to hold it from doing that. So I've got some gash bits, and for the rear, something like that. I had a bit of padding on there just to so it's not rubbing against the paint. Cut this bit, I think it's a bit here, and that gently I may need to shape it a bit more, but you get the idea. And there'll be a bit of padding on the front there just to protect the paint on the nose. So a bit of padding, just need to add a bit of glue now and gingerly try and feed this through. We can start adding the blades and the other bits. Now thankfully these all come apart, so it makes it stowage a lot more easier, he says. So I'm just going to use this bit here to try and create something for the blades. So instead of the pen, I'm just going to use the pencil. I don't want to get ink on the blades. Dough them something like this. So So I'm just going to draw around the shape. So I've cut a little slot in there so I can prise it open to clip the blade in. Make 12 of these. I'll use this as a template. So I've cut them all out, 2 for each blade. I use this as a template all the way through, because if I used the one after I cut as a template, any discrepancies will get worse and worse. So I know that they're all very similar to this. I'm just going to go through them now and go through all of them like that, deburring these edges here, make them smooth. Some of these paper towel strips glued and dried will be used for various things, as straps and padding. I'll just cut a strip like that, put it in like that, just open it up. Now add a bit of glue around the edge there, let it set, and then this kitchen paper just helps protect the paint on the blade when it's seated. So I'll get on and do the rest of them. So that's it all done now. Just let it dry thoroughly. Take that out. This is what's left of 2 A1 sheets of foam board. So the blades are stuck in. I've used these pieces here to stop the blades moving about a bit. It was just the back stop there I had to add. I've added some strengthening pieces here just to make this a bit more rigid. Same here. These won't fall out because by the time I get this sidewall in, it'll keep in place. These are just pushed through a hole, the hubs. So as I said, I'm just going to let that all dry thoroughly, and then I'll glue the side, strengthen it, and then put the lid on. I've added some more strengthening supports either side. Any bits of foam board I have left over I use up, I don't waste it. I've paid for it, I'm going to use it. I've added a couple of central supports. One would have been enough, but since I had space for 2, why not? Not that I'm going to be putting heavy books or furniture on top of this, but it just helps. Now this is in no way fits them through the post. This whole concept is about functionality, storing parts safely, not bother what it looks like as long as they're secure. Last part to do is to take a picture of the contents, print it out, stick it on top of the lid so I know what it is, because after all these years I do lose track of what's in the boxes. Last thing I do is add a bit of parcel tape around the edge there just to close the lid. So I hope this was of some interest to you. I want to thank you for watching, and I do hope to see you later.